Now Emma is a famous bear researcher. But it all started with one night in Yellowstone, when a 7-year-old girl met a mother who wasn't human. The sun was slowly setting behind the mountains of Yellowstone. Emma Johnson watched the dance of golden light. The last rays of day broke through the tall pines. "Dad, can I go to the little lake?" she asked quietly. But Dad was already lighting the campfire. Mom was sorting things in the tent. Her brother Dan was playing with his phone in the car. Emma loved exploring nature alone. She had a small red bag. Inside were a magnifying glass and a notebook. The girl wanted to become a biologist. The little lake was very close. Emma could see its blue water. She quietly walked down the path to the water. Leaves rustled under her red sneakers. The air smelled of pines and wildflowers. It was so beautiful by the lake. Ducks swam between the lilies. Dragonflies flew over the water. Emma took out her magnifying glass and started looking. "Oh, what a beautiful beetle!" she whispered. The girl followed a butterfly along the shore. It was yellow with black spots. The butterfly landed on a flower behind the trees. Emma went between the tall bushes. It was quiet and cool here. She could only hear the rustle of leaves. Suddenly the butterfly flew further. Emma ran after it. She didn't notice the path disappear. Around her were only trees and bushes. "Where am I?" the girl asked herself. She looked around. Everything looked the same. Tall pines blocked the view. Emma couldn't see the lake. She couldn't see her family's tents. The girl's heart beat faster. She went where she came from. But all the trees looked alike. "Mom! Dad!" Emma screamed. Only echoes of her voice answered, and the distant cry of some bird. Emma walked between the trees further and further. She hoped to see familiar places. But around was only thick forest. The sun was setting lower and lower. Shadows became longer and darker. The first stars appeared between the trees. "I'm not afraid," Emma told herself. "I'm an explorer." But her voice was trembling. The girl had never been alone in the forest, especially at night. She found a big tree and sat by it. In her bag she had a flashlight. Emma turned it on. Yellow light illuminated a few meters around. Beyond was darkness, and unfamiliar sounds of the forest. An owl hooted. Leaves rustled. Small branches broke under the feet of invisible animals. "Mom will find me," Emma whispered. "They will definitely find me." But Yellowstone Forest is huge. Millions of trees and thousands of trails. How to find her in such darkness? Emma took out her notebook. She started drawing the trees around. This calmed her. The girl always drew when she was worried. Suddenly she heard an unusual sound. Not an owl and not wind. Something big was walking between the bushes. Emma gripped the flashlight tightly. Her heart beat like a hammer. She held her breath and listened. The steps became closer. Branches broke under the weight of a large body. Something snorted and sniffed. The girl pressed her hand to her mouth. She was afraid to even breathe. Wild bears live in Yellowstone. Dad always warned about them. 2 green dots appeared from the darkness. Eyes. Big eyes of some animal. Emma froze with fear. She couldn't move. Couldn't scream. And then she came out of the bushes. A huge brown bear. A female bear. Emma's whole body trembled. She pressed against the tree trunk. The bear was enormous. Bigger than any animal she had ever seen. The bear stopped 3 steps away. Her dark eyes looked directly at Emma. The girl couldn't move or speak. But something was strange. The bear's eyes weren't angry. They were calm. Almost curious. The bear tilted her massive head to one side. She sniffed the air around Emma. Her wet black nose twitched. Emma's heart was pounding so loud. She was sure the bear could hear it. Then something incredible happened. The bear sat down. Like a giant dog. She looked at Emma with those gentle brown eyes. You're not going to hurt me?" Emma whispered. The bear blinked slowly. As if she understood. Behind the mother bear, two small shapes appeared. Baby cubs. They were the size of puppies. Brown and fluffy with bright, curious eyes. The cubs tumbled toward Emma playfully. Their mother grunted softly. A warning sound. The babies stopped immediately. Emma couldn't believe what she was seeing. A wild bear family. And they weren't attacking her. The mother bear stood up again. She walked around Emma in a circle, sniffing and examining, like she was trying to understand something. Then the bear looked toward the dark forest. She looked back at Emma. The girl could see worry in those intelligent eyes. The bear knew Emma was lost. "I can't find my family," Emma said softly. "They're camping by the lake. Do you know where that is?" The bear tilted her head again. She made a low rumbling sound. Not a growl. More like she was thinking. The cubs played nearby, rolling and wrestling with each other. Their mother watched them while keeping one eye on Emma. The temperature was dropping fast. Mountain nights in Yellowstone were cold. Even in summer. Emma's light jacket wasn't enough. She started shivering. Her teeth chattered together. The mother bear noticed immediately. She came closer to Emma. The girl held her breath. The massive bear lay down next to the tree, right beside Emma. Her warm fur touched the girl's arm. Emma gasped. The bear was sharing her body heat, protecting her from the cold. "Thank you," Emma whispered. She had never felt fur so soft and warm. The cubs came over too. They snuggled against their mother. And against Emma. Like she was part of their family. Emma felt tears in her eyes. But not from fear anymore. From something beautiful and magical. She was safe with these wild animals. The bear's breathing was slow and steady. Her huge chest rose and fell. The sound was comforting. Like a lullaby. "My name is Emma," the girl said quietly. "What's your name?" The bear looked at her with those wise eyes. She made another soft rumbling sound. "I'll call you Mama Bear," Emma decided. "Because you're taking care of me." Mama Bear seemed to like that. She nuzzled Emma gently with her massive head. Hours passed in the cold mountain night. Emma dozed against the warm fur. The cubs slept peacefully beside her. But Mama Bear never slept. She stayed alert all night, watching the forest for danger, protecting the lost human child. When coyotes howled in the distance, Mama Bear growled low. A warning. The howling stopped. When an owl swooped too close, Mama Bear raised her head. The owl flew away quickly. Emma felt completely safe. Safer than she'd ever felt before. This wild mother was better than any security guard. Sometimes Emma heard distant voices. Search parties calling her name. But they were too far away. The voices faded into the wind. Mama Bear heard them too. Her ears perked up each time. She looked toward the sounds. Then back at Emma. The bear was making a decision. Should she take Emma toward the voices? Or keep her safe here? In the early morning hours, something changed. Mama Bear stood up suddenly. Her whole body was tense. Alert. She had heard something Emma couldn't hear. The cubs woke up too. They pressed close to their mother, sensing her urgency. Mama Bear looked down at Emma, then toward the forest. Her message was clear. It was time to go. "You're going to help me find my family?" Emma asked. Mama Bear nodded. Actually nodded. Like she understood every word. Emma stood up slowly. Her legs were stiff from the cold night. But she felt strong. Ready for whatever came next. The bear family began walking through the forest. Mama Bear led the way. The cubs followed behind their mother. And Emma walked beside them. like she belonged there. The morning sun was just beginning to rise. Golden light filtered through the pine trees. It was going to be a beautiful day. And somehow, Emma knew everything would be okay. The morning air was crisp and clean. Emma walked through the forest with her unlikely family. Mama Bear moved with purpose. She knew exactly where she was going. The cubs played as they walked, tumbling over logs and chasing butterflies. They made Emma smile despite everything. "How do you know where my family is?" Emma asked Mama Bear. The Great Bear looked back at her. Those intelligent eyes seemed to say, "Trust me." They walked for what felt like hours. Through thick pine groves. Across bubbling streams. Up rocky hills covered in wildflowers. Emma's feet hurt in her sneakers. But she didn't complain. Mama Bear was helping her. She would follow anywhere. Then Mama Bear stopped suddenly. Her ears perked up. She had heard something. In the distance, Emma heard it too. Helicopter blades. The search and rescue team was looking for her. "They're trying to find me," Emma said excitedly. But Mama Bear looked worried. She knew what helicopters meant. Humans were coming. Lots of humans. The bear gathered her cubs close. She looked at Emma with sad eyes. Soon they would have to say goodbye. The helicopter sound grew louder. Voices echoed through the trees. Search teams were everywhere now. "Emma! Emma Johnson!" It was her father's voice. Emma's heart leaped with joy. "Dad! I'm here!" she shouted as loud as she could. The voices came closer. Footsteps crashed through the underbrush. Radios crackled with updates. "We found her! She's over here!" 3 park rangers appeared through the trees. They wore green uniforms and carried radios. Behind them came Emma's parents. "Emma!" her mother cried. "Oh, my baby!" But then everyone stopped. They saw what Emma was standing next to. A massive grizzly bear. With 2 cubs. "Nobody move," whispered Ranger Martinez. His hand moved toward his tranquilizer gun. "No," Emma said quickly. "She helped me. She saved my life." The adults stared in shock. A 7-year-old girl. Standing calmly next to wild bears. "Emma, slowly walk toward us," her father said. His voice was shaking. "But I need to say goodbye first," Emma replied. She turned to Mama Bear. The great animal looked down at her with those gentle brown eyes. "Thank you for taking care of me," Emma whispered. "You're the best mom ever." She reached up and hugged Mama Bear's massive neck. Her small arms barely fit around the thick fur. Mama Bear nuzzled Emma's hair gently. A mother's goodbye kiss. The cubs came over too. Emma petted their soft heads. They licked her hands with their tiny pink tongues. "I'll never forget you," Emma promised. Then she walked toward her family. Every step was hard. She didn't want to leave her new friends. Her parents grabbed her in a huge hug. Her mother was crying. Her father held her so tight she could barely breathe. "We thought we lost you forever," her mom sobbed. "But I wasn't lost," Emma said. "Mama Bear found me." She looked back at the bear family. They were still watching her, making sure she was safe with her human family. Ranger Martinez spoke into his radio. "The child is safe. Unharmed. But we have a situation here." "What kind of situation?" came the radio reply. "A grizzly and cubs. They seem protective of the girl." Ranger Susan Chin stepped forward. She was the chief wildlife biologist. She'd never seen anything like this. "How long were you with them?" she asked Emma. "All night. Mama Bear kept me warm. She protected me from coyotes." The rangers exchanged amazed looks. A wild grizzly protecting a human child. It was almost impossible. "This bear showed no aggression?" Ranger Chin asked. She was like a real mom, Emma said. Better than a real mom. Mama Bear seemed to understand the conversation was about her. She sat down peacefully, showing she meant no harm. This is extraordinary, Ranger Chin whispered. A wild bear adopting a human child. More search team members arrived. They formed a circle around the area. But nobody raised weapons. The bears were clearly peaceful. We need to document this, said Ranger Martinez. No one will believe it. Dr. Sarah Miller, the park's head scientist, took out her camera. She photographed Emma standing between her human family and her bear family. Emma, you may have just proven something scientists have debated for years, Dr. Miller said. That bears can form emotional bonds across species. Emma didn't understand all the big words. She just knew she loved Mama Bear. Can I visit her? Emma asked. Wild animals need to stay wild, Ranger Chin explained gently. But we'll make sure this bear family is protected. It was time to go. The helicopter waited in a nearby clearing. Emma's family needed to get her to a hospital for checking. Goodbye, Mama Bear, Emma called as they walked away. The great bear stood up. She made one last rumbling sound. A mother's blessing for her human daughter. Emma waved until the bear family disappeared behind the trees. At the hospital, doctors said Emma was perfectly fine. Not a scratch on her. The bear had taken perfect care of her. News reporters came from everywhere. They wanted to hear about the girl who slept with wild bears. Emma became famous. The Bear Girl of Yellowstone. Newspapers called her. But more importantly, she never forgot her promise to Mama Bear. Emma studied hard in school. She learned about bears and wildlife protection. She visited Yellowstone every summer. And sometimes, just sometimes, she saw a familiar brown shape in the distance, watching from the trees. Mama Bear never forgot her human daughter either. 20 years later, Dr. Emma Johnson became Yellowstone's youngest head of bear research. She dedicated her life to protecting the animals that once protected her. She never married, never had children of her own, because she already knew what it meant to be part of a family. A family that crossed the boundaries between human and wild, between fear and love, between two worlds that people said could never meet. But Emma knew better. She had lived it. And in her heart, she would always be Mama Bear's little cub.